science to fifth graders for almost 6 years, and I think you have similar life stories because you worked as a police officer on the bit in Louisiana. I wonder what made you do that?
I went to police academy in Los Angeles in about 1982 because I wanted to learn the basics of police law. I was interested in becoming a police officer on a reserve level, which meant that I could go and be a policeman whenever I wanted to be, and then when I wanted to go do special security operations or a movie or a musical tour or whatever it was, I could do it. So, of course, back then I wasn't doing movies, but I wanted to be able to do other things. So the main reason I wanted to do this was because I saw in life bad guys who thought they were so big and so bad and so tough that they could murder and rape and rob and pillage and get away with it. And I wanted to say, wait a minute, there's other guys out there that are just as tough or tougher than you and just as ugly or uglier than you. And I wanted to become a police officer so I could help those people who are being victimized, so I could stop people from being murdered, raped, tortured, abused, robbed. And that's why I became a police officer.
But you continued doing that even after you became famous, and I think most people around the world, they want to do good things in life, but with age, with money, and especially with fame, people tend to become a bit more arrogant, maybe a bit more cynical, a bit less motivated. What helped you escape that?
I mean, I would like to believe that I'm becoming more humble as life goes on, and more giving, and giving more of my life and my time to the people, you know.
You have this very peacemaking, almost pacifist aura around you. You're a Buddhist, and yet both in your acting career and I guess in your work as a police officer, you had to deal with lots of guns, and you do seem to have a liking of sophisticated weaponry. You are here in Russia to promote a sniper rifle that will bear, as far as I understand, your own name. What attracts you in guns? Is it engineering? Is it the sense of power? Something else, maybe?
I mean, I believe in, you know, the sport, the Olympics, shooting and Olympics, long-range shooting, all these things. But I also believe that every country has the right to defend their own country. Every man has the right to defend his own wife and children and home. And I also believe that right should triumph over evil. And so I don't have anything against guns, because guns in and of themselves don't kill people. People kill people. So a gun is just like a plant or a tool, you know, and you can either do good with it, which is to protect and nurture humanity and mankind, or destroy. And I'm here to nurture and protect people.
Now, I think your own country, the United States, has a very complicated relationship with guns, because on one hand, it's almost perceived as a symbol of freedom protected by the Second Amendment, but on the other hand, it also created specifically American form of violence, mass shootings in schools and universities. So I wonder, where do you stand on the issue of gun control in the United States?
Well, first of all, I believe in the Second Amendment and the Constitution more than anything in the world. And I think that Adolf Hitler, for example, when he wanted to annihilate the people of Germany, the first thing he did was take away their guns. And the rights to bear arms wasn't just to protect the people from foreign invaders, it was to protect them against evil governments and anyone that would violate their inherent rights as a human being. So I believe in the Second Amendment, and I believe that, I hate to say this, a lot of these mass murders and all this funny stuff that's going on, I believe a lot of this is engineered.
And yet in the aftermath of the, I think it was Newtown shooting, you were engaged in a Connecticut program, I think, to teach children in self-defense. Do you think those skills would be helpful if they were faced with somebody who was armed to the teeth?
Well, first of all, I wasn't teaching children to defend themselves. I was teaching what's called the posse, which are sworn officers to come in and defend schools. And so these are people that have had training with firearms. They have had police training. They're just not on my level, but they are, you know, sworn.
But you still thought that that engagement was important, and that there's something has to be done about the gun situation within schools and universities.
The most precious gift we have from God is our children. Why can't we spend money and time to protect our schools and our children. They have armed guards at every bank, at every jewelry store. If you go around Champs-Élysées, you go around France and Monaco and Beverly Hills, there's all these armed guards everywhere protecting money and jewelry. Why can't we protect our children?
I don't know. That's a good question. I have to ask you this. Do you think Hollywood and in particular action movies are partially responsible for glorification of gun violence?
I don't.
No?
I think that, you know, the more important thing we need to look at here is mental health, because there are mentally insane people in every country, and God knows we have our share in America. And I think this is the most important thing to learn there. I think statistically it's sort of proven that, you know, in Japan, for example, where they have the most violent movies on earth, they have almost zero crime. What does that tell you? It's not really the movies as much as it's mental health issues and how these people can get help. And it's also parenting. You know, if you have parents who love the children, spend time with their children, teach their children right from wrong, and they have real parenting, you won't see any of this.
And yet, if we look at the pure data, statistics of violence in the United States, and the access that kids have to guns, the amount of time they spent with their parents, it doesn't look pretty well.
To be honest with you, my opinion is that the economy is so bad in America, and the common people are spending every waking moment just trying to survive, to the point where many of them feel like they really don't even have the luxury to spend time with their children. It's about survival now.
Now, we talked about guns, but there's one weapon that you seem to dislike very strongly, and as far as I understand, this is nuclear weapons. I don't know if that's accurate, but it's been reported that you are the world's first private citizen to personally sponsor the destruction of a nuclear weapon.
Well,
is
I don't
that
know
true?
if that's true or not, but I do have a great aversion to nuclear weapons, and I would love it if all nuclear weapons were abolished.
But it was reported that you donated $100,000 of your own money to dismantle some Russian missiles. Is that accurate? Or
Probably.
Why were you moved to do that?
Because I was told that they wanted to dispose of them if they had the money to, and so I'm not sure exactly what country it was. It might have been Russia, but I was just helping dispose of them at the time.
Mm-hmm. Now, given your very active social role and your experience as now international mediator, I wonder if you have ever thought about running for office. I mean, we have the experience of Arnold Schwarzenegger becoming the governor of California, and then there was Ronald Reagan. You mentioned him before. Have you thought about that at all? Because you certainly have the experience now.
I mean, really, to be honest with you, whatever I can do to help the world be a better place, to help mankind in any way I can, I would be very, very interested in devoting my love and life and time and any kind of knowledge or wisdom I may have.
But not in the political office. I
mean, you know, if I thought that I could really help people, I would consider it, although in general, politics are not something that I think are the best, you know, kind of avenue for me to get things done.
But your views seem to be on the Republican side, right?
I mean, yes. Yes.
You're obviously a Hollywood star, but in some of your interviews you were quite critical of the Hollywood culture, and you sought to distance yourself from Hollywood, from California in real life. Why is that?
I mean, I don't want to say anything that is critical or badmouth my quote-unquote colleagues, even though I don't really look at them as colleagues. There are two kinds of actors. There are the kind of actors that are real thespians that come into Hollywood because they are artists and they love acting and they consider it an art and a science and they work at it. That's 3 out of 3 million. And then a lot of the people who come to Hollywood because they need to be adored. And the people who need to be adored, it's a kind of a sickness, and I call Hollywood the cannibal house because most of those people will eat each other to get ahead. They will do anything to get ahead, and they don't realize that 1 minute they'll, if they're lucky, 1 in a million or 1 in 10 million, they'll be on top of the world, and the next minute, no matter who they are, they're going to fall down because that's the essence of delusion. That's the essence of Hollywood. So I love movies. I love movie making. I think it can be one of the most enlightening, milieus for humans to use to help the world be a better place, to disseminate spectacular emotions and love and information. Of course, movies can be used for, the opposite of that. So it's a spectacular milieu in an amazing place. And there are many great, great people in Hollywood, not just actors, directors, producers, but there's also, the allure of those folks that came there for the wrong reasons and stay there for the wrong reasons.
Steven Seagal, thank you very much for your time. And if you like the show, please join us again, same place, same time, here on Worlds Apart.